Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video, like up the video, and also subscribe to the channel. Please also head on over to our Instagram page, that is TXT Track Time, and give us a follow there as well. The link will be in the description. Thank you. Alright, so trackies, with that said, this is one of those topics. It's one of those heavy topics. So here what? Bear with me and ride with me till the end. Alright, so this topic is one that I've wanted to discuss for a while. I'm not entirely versed on it. However, as usual, I share my thoughts. Now, the topic is the importance of a sports psychologist in Jamaican track and field. Now, when I compare Jamaica to the United States of America, you'd have heard me say time and time again that the American athletes seem to turn into ninjas when they get to major championships. Now, I want you all to look at the athletes, the events, and their performances leading into global championships. More often than not, when the US athletes get to a major championships, they really and truly overperform. Now, we don't realize this fact because we tend to, as Jamaicans, only focus on the sprint events. But when you look at the big picture, the athletes' performances are really spectacular, much better than what they were showing us throughout the season. So why is this the case? And I'm left to ask, could the defining factor be their active use of sports psychologists? Now, trackies, I know there's a negative connotation associated with the term psychologist in Jamaica, which is why every time I try to broach this topic, y'all make it sound as though I'm saying the athletes are quote unquote crazy. Especially when it comes to our men, they don't want to seem weak at all. So let's get into it. What is a sports psychologist? Well, they help athletes improve their performance. They work with athletes on motivation and stress management, visualization, and other factors affecting athletic performance. Now, when I look back at 2023, there are a few athletes that seem to be struggling that I'm going to make mention of. And just to be clear, I do believe that these athletes physically have the ability to medal at global championships. However, there seems to be something that is preventing them from taking that extra step. Now, trackies, I know your first inclination is to refute this notion as hogwash. Now, why am I saying this? Well, because I know my Jamaican people, y'all love to sweep issues under the rug. But let me quote our superstar of this 2023 season, Shericka Jackson. Now, someone asked her, how do you manage stress? And this was Shericka's response: so many ways, but I keep God in the center of all of it. Pray a lot, ball a lot. I also go to therapy, so that helps me a lot. I document how I feel most days, so when I'm a little stressed, I know what to do. Plus, my friends are my free therapy. Now, track is clearly the important tidbit towards this conversation is the section where she says she goes to therapy, and that helps a lot. Now, with that said, trackies, one athlete that stood out to me was Janieve Russell. Now, heading into the championships, you could tell that she was ready to shatter her personal best, and there was a lot of talk anticipating her performance in Budapest, given she won the 400-meter hurdle finals at the Jamaica Senior Championships. I remember going into the 400-meter hurdles finals at Budapest, Bridget Foster Hilton, coach at MVP, kept saying Janieve was ready. However, in the finals, she placed 7th, running above 54 seconds. And the first thing that Bridget said was that she was fine heading into the finals. When Janieve gets back to Jamaica, we'll have to consider a sports psychologist. Now, trackies, when we think about it, there were numerous complaints and injuries coming out of Budapest as a result of the poor conditions. And Janieve herself could have been affected by those said conditions. However, what Bridget said highlighted to me that Janieve wasn't seeing a sports psychologist in the first place to help her get her head in the game and run her best race each time she enters these global events. I mean, trackies, why wait this long to highlight the issue? It's been years. They're with Janieve on a day-to-day basis, so they know what she's capable of, and I'm pretty sure we haven't seen it yet. But they've also seen her struggle to make a few championship teams in the past. We, the viewers, have also seen this. However, we believe that Janieve's best opportunity to medal based on form was most likely in Budapest, considering that Sydney McLaughlin was out with injury and Dalila Mohammed did not meet the finals, leaving only Femke Ball, one of the big three that finished ahead of her when she ran her fastest ever back in 2021 at the Tokyo Olympic Games. And trackies, everything about 2023 said that Janieve would have outdone 2021. In 2021, she was running consistent high 54s, and in 2023 she was literally consistently running 53s. The next athlete, trackies, had some bizarre sequence of events occur. Now I'm talking about Akeem Blake. Now leading into the national championships, everything seemed fine. He was holding his own against the best in the world. However, at the national championships is where the bizarre sequence of events seemed to start. Well, then again, maybe slightly before. However, leading into the national championships, he ran 9.89 seconds, so he was definitely going in pretty strong. However, at the national championships, he didn't break 10 seconds, eventually finishing 4th, not making the individual team to the world championships, to the shock of many, and not to mention the noted false started issues rearing their ugly heads once again. Now, in continuing the rest of his season, he went on to fall coming out of the blocks in China and was DQ'd for a false start at the Diamond League finals in Eugene. Now, trackies, something just seemed off, and it doesn't seem to have anything to do with his physical conditioning. Now, on Akeem's socials, he writes a lot of motivational quotes. However, that doesn't seem to be enough. Now, trackies, moving on to our last athlete that I want to cover in this video, and that is Oblique Seville, a man that has a lot of expectations leveled on his shoulders. Now, 2023 looked good. I mean, he still had a few execution issues, like running through the line, that I really come down hard on him for. But after placing 3rd at the national championships, he was quoted as saying he doesn't think he can win. Now, trackies, I don't know any athlete, regardless of their ranking, that would say that. I mean, if no one believes in you, you got to believe in you. You know what? When I think about it, it actually takes me back to 2004 with Danny McFarlane saying no one believed in him, but he won Olympic silver in the men's 400-meter hurdles. But you know what? He's right. No one was checking for Danny. Also, trackies, look at Natasha Morrison. Leading into Budapest, she was talking about being on the podium.
This world championship in my individual, I would like to be on the podium in the top 3.
When she said that, I said, girl. But look at her now. A 10.85 PB personal best to close out her 2023 season. Now, this didn't happen in Budapest, but for me, she definitely performed above expectations to close out her season. And trackies, for me, that is the power of belief in oneself, coupled with obviously hard work. Now, a few other athletes that I can name drop are the likes of Noah Lyles and Antonio Watson. I mean, look at what confidence in oneself can produce. Now, anyway, back to Oblique Seville. The self-confidence clearly was not there. I have to admit, trackies, going into the world championships, not much was expected of him because he was overcoming a slight setback. So many will say not much was expected. So placing 4th in the 100 meters was great, and this may very well be true. However, trackies, if you look at it another way, he turned up at the championships in medal contention, running 9.86 to equal his personal best, not going all out. So what happened in the finals? Did he battle under high pressure, trackies? Because the same poor execution that I've mentioned quite a few times reared its ugly head once again. He was caught race watching and not executing his race. Trackies, old habits die hard. What you practice at yard, you will do abroad. I remember some persons telling me that he wouldn't do that on the biggest stage. Well, what happened then? Was he just not good enough on the day, trackies? Or was it something else? In saying this, trackies, I realized that not every athlete is the same. The pressure to perform at the highest level will be handled differently. So who can help? I hear from a very reliable source that Jamaican coaches don't tend to utilize sports psychologists. So are we going to continue watching our athletes not do the best they can do on the global stage? When will we normalize athletes seen as sports psychologists and stop demonizing it because we are fearful of the perception? Anyway, trackies, y'all sound off in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Is there any validity in anything that I'm saying? Like the video, of course, subscribe, and I'll catch you in a next one.